Floor crossings, Gary, they are very rare. But when they happen, they send a message. Recent floor crossings by the Conservative MPs and internal dissent have put Pierre Poilievre's leadership under a renewed scrutiny. While not unprecedented, such moves raise questions about caucus unity and control. All this as Poilievre faces a leadership review in just over a month. Meantime, what about the constituents of the MPs that crossed the floor? The majority who voted in favor of the MP rushing to the arms of the party across the aisle are constituents receiving this type of representation for which they voted. Is it time to put restrictions on floor crossings? Gary?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This goes in two directions, Eddie. I think, and we can focus on, first of all, what the latest floor crossing means for Poilievre as he counts down to his leadership review at the end of next month. And the second part is the constituents. Now, floor crossing has been going on since the beginning of our parliamentary system here in Canada. So it's not an uncommon thing. It doesn't happen very often, but you seem to get flurries of it from time to time. And if you go back through, there are a number of Quebec politicians who have crossed the floor over the years as well. So, as I say, it's not uncommon. And usually the party that is the recipient of the floor crosser, well, they're all smiles and it's all great and they're all happy. And on the other side, they're usually crying foul. Only this time around, we had Chris d'Entremont cross from the Conservatives over to the Liberals about a month ago now.
In November or so, yeah.
Yeah.
Beginning of November, yeah.
Yeah. We just had Michael Ma cross last week. As a matter of fact, apparently he attended the Conservative Christmas party on one night, crossed the floor the next day, and attended the Liberal Christmas party the next night.
That was pretty ballsy, I'll tell you that. Like, wow.
That's what I've heard anyway. And there was one Conservative MP who they did a Secret Santa, and he said everybody was looking at their Secret Santa gifts, and he said, I didn't get one. And I got thinking, I wonder. So the next day he went and he asked if he could go down the list and see who was supposed to be giving him his Secret Santa gift.
Was it Michael Ma? Really?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway, what it's done though is now Prime Minister Carney is one seat away from a majority government. That's it. Because across the aisle, Poilievre also had a Conservative member who announced, now they say he was going to cross as well when d'Entremont did.
Right.
But somebody or some people got to him, and what he ended up doing was he ended up announcing that he would be resigning sometime early in the new year. At one point, spring was tossed around.
But that would trigger a by-election, of course, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Also, he did, though, on a couple of key confidence votes, including the budget confidence vote over the last couple of weeks, sat on his hands. Mm-hmm. He did not vote.
I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
Yeah. So Poilievre has lost 3, and of course the Liberals are playing up the fact that there are 3 or 4 more who are ready to go as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. It remains to be seen. There could be a lot of bluster on the part of the Liberals. It's hard to say at this stage. But then again, there have been rumblings about Poilievre and the campaign back in April and how that went. And, who knows? There may be some more MPs who are really, conservative MPs who are really giving it some thought. Now, before we get into any further discussion, last week, Poilievre did the year-end interviews. He did one with Rosemary Barton on CBC, and he did one with Vashi Kapelas at CTV. And out of both hostess tried to push him on his leadership. Vashi, from what I saw, was a little more aggressive with pushing that question. And here is just a brief clip from that whole thing and Poilievre's responses.
And again, I'll put to you with great respect, I look at public opinion polling. Every single one of them has your party and the Liberals neck and neck within 1 or 2 points of each other. But when you look deeper at your own personal numbers, the divide between you and the leader of the Liberal Party, the Prime Minister, is far more significant. You were supposed to win this election. You lost it. You didn't hold your own seat. You have now lost 3 MPs. At what point are you a liability to the Conservative Party?
Well, we added 2.5 million votes. We had the biggest vote count in our party's history. We got 25 more seats, the biggest share of votes since 1988. Why? Because I ran on restoring the promise of this country, that anybody who works hard gets a good life, gets an affordable home, a safe street. And that vision brought people to our party in record numbers. We've led the debate on inflation, carbon taxes, crime, immigration, natural resources, drugs, and more, to the point where the Liberals have to plagiarize our words, even though if they don't actually put them into practice. So we've been driving the debate under my leadership, and we're going to continue to demonstrate that if Canadians want those policies that Liberals keep pretending to support, they're actually going to have to vote for the real deal in the next election.
But you lost. At the end of the day, you lost, right? And I just don't understand kind of how, after all of that, and I'm not taking away from the election result, the significance of it, and certainly I've directed a lot of those questions at the Liberals to try and hold them to account. But there is absolutely zero sense of contrition on your part, particularly after the loss of these 2 MPs. Why?
Well, I'm very troubled that they made that decision, but the people in their ridings voted for the Conservative agenda that I'm continually leading on in the House of Commons, again, which is to make this country affordable once again. And I'm not, we focus a lot on the palace intrigue of Parliament Hill. We need to focus on the real lives of Canadians who can't afford to eat right now. We've got 2.2 million visits to a food bank every single month. That is twice what it was just a decade ago, a number that's increasing this year. Next year, grocery prices are expected to go up another $1,000. Family of 4 will be spending $17,600. So I appreciate the obsession around this place with the palace intrigue and the interpersonal debates, but what really matters is whether people can actually put food on the dinner table every night. And I'm the only one who's been consistently championing the right of people who work hard to have decent food, to have a good home, to live on a safe street. And that's what we're going to continue to do.
Gary, give Vassy a cigar. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
And I was also laughing at Manel's comment, you got to put it up.
Yeah.
But you know what? Now that's what I would expect from any credible journalist, to ask those types of questions of the leaders of a country. Tough, hard questions. And you know what? She made the man squirm. He just kept on with the rhetoric. You've heard from him for the last 6 to 7 years. Unreal.
Exactly.
What? I mean, she did great. What a great job.
I found it, she did an excellent job. It was quite entertaining to watch it. And he just kept going around. Now, Rosie Barton asked him about his leadership as well, and she said, shouldn't you accept the blame? And basically, he said, I'm blaming Mark Carney. Mm-hmm. And then, and this was only a portion of how Vashi went after him about his leadership and what it was doing to the party. anyway, she brought up a similar question, and again he said, it's Mark Carney doing backroom deals to steal a majority government instead of going to the voters.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know what?
Not once did he say it's not
writing,
me.
did he not? Yeah, he lost his writing, did he not?
Yes.
Let's go by the results of the elections. Or, you know what? I mean, I was looking at that. That's the first time I've actually seen it, Gary. So it was really entertaining for me. And, you know, a couple of thoughts went by. I could see them doing what a leader of the opposition party should do, is, you know, trying to continue to promote the policies he was campaigning on and keep on driving them forward. And, you know, saying as a result of his position and what he was campaigning with, that they picked up another 2.5 million votes, yada, 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 so on and so forth. I was basically waiting for him to say, you know, when he talked about putting food on the table and whatever else, well, you know what? Every candidate for the leadership of the country during the debate stage spoke about every one of these elements in detail. So it's not like he's coming up with a brand new idea. Everybody had a position on this because this is what Canadians needed to hear. This is what Canadians were voting on. I was waiting for him to say, and if I got elected on day one, I would have eliminated all these high price increases and everybody would be able to afford 5 pencils. I was waiting for that to come out. It just didn't. And I'm not sure. I think that PP did himself a little bit of a disservice during that interview of tough questions by pointing fingers. I really did not expect him to point fingers, and to me, he lost me when he started pointing fingers. Up until that point, he had me, but he lost me when he started pointing fingers.
Here's the thing, Eddie. If you listen closely, he never accepted any blame for the fact that he's lost 3 MPs and their rumblings of more ready to make the decision to cross the floor, number one. And number two, Vashi did go after him and say at one point about the fact when he was talking about, you know, we increased our vote and blah, blah. And she said, but you lost your seat and you lost the election.
Mm-hmm.
And then went
he
back to his talking point, and that was it. Now, the one thing of it is, though, he, between the latest polls and his round of interviews that got a lot of play over last weekend into the first of this week, had the Liberals scrambling, especially when he blamed Mark Carney and said that Carney was doing backroom deals to try and get a majority. Steve McKinnon, the government House leader, went out in front of reporters. It was either late last week or on Monday. And you know that they were in major damage control. You'll see it. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
But Mr. Poilievre has spent the last 3 days giving these fuzzy, and what we thought was, oh, a long form interview, an hour here, a half hour there. We're going to hear some plans. We're going to hear some specifics. But yet, Mr. Poilievre comes forward with the same tired tropes that Mr. Gerritsen and I listened to and all of you listened to every day for the last 4 months.
Why is he leading in every public opinion poll then? For almost more than almost a year now.
You know what Diefenbaker said, right? Polls are for dogs, and there's going to be an election at some point in the future. We're going to be very happy and very confident to put our plans and our specifics in front of Canadians and let Mr. Poilievre try and get away with these tropes and these tired tropes that he's involved in.
Yeah, polls are for
and during
dogs.
that little spiel scrum with the reporters on Parliament Hill, one of the reporters asked, "Why are we here? Why are we really here? What do you have really to offer today?"
Mm-hmm.
But when you see something like that, that's a party in damage control right away. Because let's have a look at the polls, Eddie. I do have a couple of polls out, and actually it is surprising what we're going to see here. Okay. All right. This one is an Ebox poll, and it's dated last week, actually. And look at that. Current vote share, 41% for the Conservatives and 41% for the Liberals. They're tied.
Wow.
And on November 27th, it was 41% for the Liberals and 40% for the Conservatives. And I think probably what you're going to see is like the Liberals, if there's a little bit of a change at all, it's probably that percentage or 0.5% or whatever change that may pop up will obviously go to the NDP.
Right.
But and look at the NDP where they are.
Single digit.
one percentage point.
Yeah.
So that's one poll, but there are others here. So let's have a look at the next one. Okay, this is geez, I forget which poll it is. I'm going to have to go back and look because the name just escaped me. But this one goes back, I believe it was to the end of November. And it's 37% with the Conservatives, 40% for the Liberals, the NDP 9%, and they picked up 2%. So you can see the Liberals had dropped 3 points in this one. And the NDP picked up 2. So you know where 2 of the 3 points that the Liberals dropped went. And the Conservatives had dropped 2 points as well. So, yeah. I'll get the name of that poll here in a minute. I just want to make sure that... Okay, so then... But here's where the road parts. This is an Ebox poll. And the impression of Pierre Poilievre as leader. And you can see he's in negative territory and has been all along. So his perception is not great. And that's just as of last week. And then there's one more here as well. And this one was Angus Reid, I believe. And again, you can see from the Conservative standpoint, 68% wanted him as leader, lead the party into the next election. He's lost 10 points since August.
10 points is considerable.
Yeah, and then coming around, those Conservatives who think he should be replaced by a new leader, in August it was 18%. In December, 26%. So even within his own party, things are starting to fall apart.
Yep.
So there's that aspect. It does not bode well. I don't care how much of a brave face they put on. This is not boding well for Poilievre and his leadership review. Now, the other side of that is it's being held in Calgary at the end of January. So how well attended is it going to be if they have off-site voting? Again, how well attended is that going to be? But for those in the Calgary area, the Edmonton area, in solid conservative country, they'll pile in and support Poilievre for sure.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see how tight that. I mean, it's all based on margin of error, and in some of the polls you don't get a margin of error because they're conducted online. But 41%. Or 40%, either way, you're looking at right now a very tight race. And the only thing that is separating them, the leaders.
Right.
Because Carney's approval rating is starting, and we all said that the honeymoon period would start coming to an end sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it's starting to a degree. But like Poilievre never really got started, even after his by-election win back in August. He's not picked up.
Yeah, both you and I expected him to pick up some momentum as a result of perhaps learning from his erroneous ways, and changing the way he was approaching the Canadian public when he spoke. Hasn't come to fruition as both of us actually hoped it would. So you're right, Gary. He just didn't seem to use that as a catapult in terms of rebranding himself and putting himself in a better position heading into the leadership review come January. It's too bad. I was really hoping he would have done so, but he just continues to struggle in that area, to tell you the truth.
He does, and even when he appeared to be trying to change his personal approach to things or his personality on camera in the public, he looked like he was really straining to do it. So, but for somebody who's been in politics as long as he has been, I mean, he's quite capable of repeating the talking points and getting the odd zinger off for sure. But really, he's gone back to, unless Stephen Outhouse, the new campaign manager, manages to work with him and work with him between now and the end of January. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
He could come out of the leadership review and come out with I won't say a solid vote, but at least enough of a vote to maintain the leadership. But that's within the party. What's going to happen outside the party? Right now, it's not looking very good at all.
No.
And all it, sure, Carney does have a wide lead, but it's still, all it would take for Carney is one major screw up, and then will that race tighten? I'm not sure.
Right.
I'm really not sure. So that's that aspect of it. That's the Carney side. Now let's look at the actual crossing the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And you get, like, the election was the end of April. Here we are near the end of December, so we're what, about 8 months?
Yeah, 7-8 months in.
Yeah. And that much has changed in these people and their thoughts about the party and the leadership of the party, that they decided to bail and cross the floor. Didn't they have any idea of what was going on? Some of them, and Chris D'Entremont, like, he was no rookie.
No, and quote unquote, when he, I caught this on some of the feeds, that D'Entremont came out and actually said when he left, he felt like he was part of a frat house.
Yeah,
that is very, very hot and heavy words as parting shots when he moved over to the liberal side. So you're right. I never thought of that, Gary. 7.5, 8 months in, did these guys not know what they were getting into, or did something significant change during their tenure where Poilievre, behind closed caucus door meetings, was maybe changing direction, changing his vision, wanting his people to follow him regardless of what they thought? And I don't know. He's stepping on a few toes. And like you said, D'Entremont was no slouch. He's been there for a while. He's a hitter,
mm-hmm.
right? To be that disillusioned to leave, and then you look at Michael Ma, who's I believe this is his first election victory, if I'm not mistaken, as a government servant. taking pictures with Polyev in his left arm, and on the following day he's taking pictures with Carney in his right arm.
Yep.
There has to be there has to be something significant that's an underlying factor to get this much dissatisfaction within his own party caucus. And we're talking 3 people here. You know what? 3 people in a matter of 8 months, that's a lot of people. I don't know about you, Gary, but that's a significant group of people jumping the floor. I don't know. I think at one point you said we could expect some more before the end of the year. Gary, we got a little over 2 weeks. We got a little week. We have about a week and a half to go. So you never know.
And if it doesn't happen then, it'll happen like in the first 2 weeks of January, would be my guess.
Right.
So I think the House doesn't go back until the 3rd week, like the week before the leadership review, I think it is. But the thing is, okay, the floor crossing, I get it to a degree, but, and it's always been part of the parliamentary procedure. And just before I get into my spiel here, Monel writes, maybe they were hoping he would stop with the same old rhetoric and the same old speeches, and he didn't, and they got sick of it. But in fairness, they should have known that from the campaign. So anyway, so I'll just get my spiel out here, and that is this. We're in 2025, we're in the 21st century. And the floor crossing thing, I've not lived in a constituency where that has happened. But I can tell you one thing, if it did, I would be one pretty PO'd voter, because I do my homework before I leave for the polling station to cast my ballot. And if I have somebody that I've placed my faith in and have them 8 months in, 6 months in, even a year in, or at any point during the term of government, they cross the floor, then they have negated the trust and the faith that I put in them to do the job representing the party that was part of their package. And at that point, a party whose platform I felt and whose leader at the time I felt were the right combination for me and my family and my friends and for our riding. So if you're that convinced that this is not the right party and the right leader, then resign and offer, some people say go sit as an independent, which has happened in the past as well. No, I didn't elect you as an independent. I didn't vote for you as an independent. I voted for you as a member of a particular party with a particular platform. So have the gumption to hang in until the next election, or if you feel that strongly that it's not going the way you think it should be going, resign, force a by-election, and offer, whether you hook up with another party, that's fine at that stage. But I'd take a long, hard look at you as far as casting a vote for you again. But hook up with another party at that point and run on your record at that stage and the party's record at that stage. I think that that's the way it should be, because you have basically betrayed the trust put in you by the majority of voters in your riding. And it's the same like at the municipal level when somebody's halfway through their municipal term and they decide, oh, there's an opening to run for provincial politics. And I used to, there was one very popular municipal politician, and she was only maybe about a year into her 4-year term at the time at the municipal level. And she was recruited by the Conservatives, provincial Conservatives, for a by-election. And when she made the announcement, like, I went right up and I said, so what do you say to the people who voted for you and put their trust in you for 4 years at the municipal level?
And what did you get as an answer?
I had this shocked look on her face because she had no answer, really.
Right.
And she tried to, kind of bounce around it a bit and, like, don't say any more, like, just don't put your foot in any farther. But, I just have I really do have an issue with that. And I think that the rules of Parliament should be overhauled to reflect that. I don't think that you're going to get, you might get a deal of some sort where one pet project of the riding, you'll get the funding or a promise of funding, but God knows how long it would take to actually get the money, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But that does not negate the fact that the majority of people voted for you as either, whatever the party was that you represented, and the principles of that party and the platform of that party. And all of a sudden you change, ships midstream. No,
Mm-hmm.
no. If you're going to do it, you have,
Yeah.
And if they don't change regulations, then fine. You have the strength of your convictions to resign, force the by-election, and run as an independent if none of the other parties want you, because they may not. And you run as an independent and you stand on what you had accomplished or not accomplished up to that point.
Yeah, and also as an independent, you can still vote for your former party if you so choose so, and your convictions are strong, right?
Right.
And then by the same token, correct me if I'm wrong, Gary, if you resign, don't you give up access to your pension that's going to be ending up in your bank account after you get through your first or second term? So if you do resign, don't you forfeit that?
Once you're vested.
Once you're vested? Okay. I was just
Yeah.
wondering if that was something that that discouraged people from resigning as a result of them no longer towing the party line or not believing in what the party was promoting.
No, it'd be the same as if you were vested in your workplace and you had a pension. The only difference would be is your pension would be much lower than the ultimate pension because of the time you've served, right? So, yeah, that just have the courage of your convictions to, resign. Just resign.
I'm of the same thinking too, Gary. I mean, although you look at moves across the floor, and as I'm a swing voter, liberal, conservative, whatever else. Anything to help the government work ahead as quickly as possible, I'm all for. And maybe these moves from opposition to the Liberal Party will help orchestrate that. But by the same token, I'm 100% behind you. If the MP that I help vote into power in my particular riding all of a sudden decided to jump ship over to another side which I may or may not support, I think I would be pretty upset. I mean, to me, I would take that as a spoiled ballot, to tell you the truth, in terms of what happened to my vote. It was all for naught. So I'm with you on that, Gary. Do I think that the government should change the rules on that? I think they should. Maybe they're not going to be able to accomplish it exactly to the degree you're suggesting here, that you outlaw a move from one point to another. But I think some change has to be put into place, not to immediately grant the party that's receiving the MP, receiving the seat, just automatically benefit from it. Maybe there's got to be an interim step where they're forced into independence. I don't know. But just outright moving across the floor like that, I'm not for. And you know what? I don't know which government is going to have the gumption to actually make that change, whether it's the Liberal government over the next 3.5 years, or whatever government sits in control once the next election goes through. And Gary, I mean, this has been going on since Confederation, if I'm not mistaken. People crossing the floor. If they haven't made the change now, outright, I don't think they're going to be very, very quick to change that, because you know what? First of all, they're bigger fish to fry, and then second of all, it's not going to be a very popular move. So I don't know. Well, time will only tell. But I'm with you, Gary. I would be, as a citizen of Canada, I would be pretty pissed if my MP jumped ship without my permission.
Well, exactly.
or the permission of his constituents. So it's just not right. Well, you know what? Here's an example. How would I feel if somebody from the Liberal Party that I voted for jumped over to the Bloc Québécois?
Yeah.
I would not be happy. So I get it. I get your frustration. And I'm with you. I'm with you on this one 100%.